welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. The first guest that we have for you today is Remy, and she, as you can see, is giving Tammy all kinds of cuddles this morning. She is about 4 years old, and when you look at her, you can definitely tell that she's got some pug in there. The eyes, the ears, the curly tail. We're not exactly sure what she's mixed with. The previous owners have said lab, but we're not sure. So we have her down as a pug mix. She came to us just the beginning of July and has made her way to the adoption floor very recently. Apparently, what had happened was a roommate moved out and left the dog behind, and the other person was unable to care for all of them. So she brought the dogs that were abandoned essentially here for us to find them other homes. So Remy has lived in homes with other dogs, a dog similar to herself, it looks like, and then 2 Chihuahuas. And she's been around men, women, strangers, children. She doesn't really seem to be shy because she's never really met me before, and she's willing to give me kisses and things like that. They say that she can be shy. I haven't seen a lot of shyness from her, but she's playful, energetic. She's a jumper, as we've seen. She likes to jump up and cuddle. She's a chaser. She's a barker, which we have seen in her kennel, but since she's come out of the kennel, she's been relatively quiet. It says that she's both house and crate trained. But you do want to make sure that you're not taking that as the gospel truth, and that you're working with any dog that's been in a kennel environment to rehouse train and get them used to your routine and your verbal cues and things like that, so that they're not having any accidents. What she's used to right now is the cues outside and let's go. So we behavior assessed her, and we found that she is pretty good at keeping her kennel clean here. She's friendly, she reacts favorably to other dogs, she's easy to obtain, she's easy to walk. She wasn't interested in food or toys, so we weren't able to test her for food aggression or guarding, but she loves to be petted. What we've noticed is that she can be a little nervous of strangers, which is probably why she barks a lot in her kennel when people she's unfamiliar with are coming up to her. She's can be a little leery of uniforms, hats, those types of things. So just doing a little bit of extra work to socialize her and familiarize her with things like that is going to be key. But otherwise, she's a fairly good all-around dog who will hopefully acclimate nicely to any home. This guy is Bond, James Bond. He is a 1.5-year-old lab mix, and as you can see, he's still full of puppy energy. He's all lab all the time. He definitely has all of those characteristics, the high energy, the playfulness, the goofiness. And he came to us because he wasn't doing well with the chickens on the farm. As you can see, he loves toys, and apparently he thought those chickens were toys. So we're looking to find him a home that's more suited to what he needs, which is a home without livestock and small animals. So you know, he just needs to go to, you know, more of a typical suburban home, basically, where he's going to get plenty of exercise, plenty of playtime. You know, you don't necessarily have to live in a home with a fenced yard or anything like that. But you do, when you have a dog like James that has that high energy level, you have to have a plan in place for what you're going to do, taking them on walks and hikes and to play areas and things like that if you're not able to provide those things in your home. So you just want to take all of those things into consideration when you're looking at any dog that's a high energy dog like James here. He came, again, because he wasn't doing well with the chickens, but they say he's playful, energetic, friendly. He rides well in the car. He loves to swim. Apparently, he also enjoys a good Cheerio. He likes to play fetch. He's been around kids of multiple ages from 3 to 13. So if you have kids in your home, he's going to be a good family dog. But he also has some things that, you know, he needs to work on as far as manners and just being a good doggy citizen, like digging, chewing, roaming and wandering, jumping up on people. So just a little bit of good manners training will hopefully do the trick for that. And making allowances for your dogs as well. So, you know, if they like to dig, find a place in the yard where that's their specific place where they're allowed to dig. If you know that they're going to try to dig around the fence, putting the fence a little bit further around, putting chicken wire around the bottom of the fence can help too. Sometimes people put cinder block around it so that they can't dig out under and try to escape and things like that. When we behavior assessed him, we did not see a lot of many red flags at all. He keeps his run clean. He's friendly when you approach the kennel. He reacts favorably to other dogs. He's easy to obtain. He can pull a little bit, but he's pretty easy to walk. No issues with food aggression, willingly lets go of toys, and he really enjoys being petted and handled. So he's a great dog. He just needs a home where he's not going to be around any of those kind of small animals or livestock. When you look at Skeeter, you might think, hey, he's a 4 or 5 month old puppy. Nope. Skeeter is about 10 to 12 months old, and he's a Chihuahua mix. So he is a forever puppy. Get the great, adorable look of a puppy with the behavior of an adult dog. It's a win-win. Skeeter, again, is a Chihuahua mix. You know, he's going to get maybe fill out a little bit more, but he's not going to get much longer, much taller. And he came to us as a stray, so we gave him the name Skeeter, and I think it kind of fits his personality a little bit. When we behavior assessed him, we found that he doesn't really keep his kennel clean, so he definitely needs a little bit of work in the house training department. But he reacts favorably to other dogs. He's friendly and excited when he's greeted by people in his kennel. He's easy to get leashed up. He can be a little bit difficult to walk for the reasons of that he likes to pull and he likes to jump on people, on walls. He doesn't really walk in a straight line, so you could kind of, he's a little underfoot, if you will. But he doesn't have issues with food aggression. He gives up objects when asked, and he loves to cuddle and give kisses and be petted and stuff like that. He doesn't have, you know, when handling his feet in his mouth, he just did the typical resisting and pulling away as most dogs do. Even though he's an older puppy, he's still considered a puppy here in the shelter, and we will be adopting him out through our puppy process, which means that we're going to take up to 4 applications for Mr. Skeeter, and then we will choose the best fit for him, whatever we think is going to be the best home. We also have an extended application process for those puppies. So it asks about breed experience. It asks about, have you ever raised a puppy before? Because it is a lot more work. They don't have their manners. They don't know what they can and can't do. And especially when you're house training a dog, it can be sometimes difficult. It just takes a lot of work. We want to make sure everybody is prepared to take that on so that the animals are going to be in homes for the long term and not come back in just a few weeks or a few months' time back here to the shelter. Compared to many of the dogs on the adoption floor right now, 5-year-old Opie here is a giant. He's weighing in at about 74 pounds, and he is a hound mix, and he is pretty much your typical hound. You can always hear Opie. As soon as the door to the adoption floor opens, you can hear Opie. When you walk by, you know where he's at because he lets you know. He has a lot to say in the kennel, and he's a little quieter when he gets outside. But you know, that's part of having a hound dog. They bay and bark, and so that's something that you would want to think about before taking Opie home and making him part of your family. He is a senior at 5 years old, so he would be adopted for our senior adoption fee. So he's going to get $20 off. So he would be going home for $72.50 instead of the normal $92.50. But as you can see, he still has plenty of energy to run around and play and things of that nature. It says from his previous owner that he is used to, he gets along with cats and dogs. He's been around children of all ages, and he is playful, energetic, friendly. He's a barker, which we've seen here in the shelter. He's used to bass. He walks well on a leash. It does say he's afraid of noises, so things like the vacuum or some other household noises might make him a little jumpy. When we assessed him, we found out that he's pretty good at keeping his kennel clean. He reacts favorably to other dogs. He's friendly when you approach his kennel. He's easy to obtain, but he can be difficult to walk. He is a large dog, and he's a very strong dog, so he can do a little bit of pulling. So a harness is always a good idea for any dog but it definitely will give you a little bit more control. They even make the front clip harnesses, so that helps a lot when they're pulling, because when they pull to the side. They don't like that, and then they learn to walk straight. No issues with food aggression. He reluctantly gives up objects. When you pet him, he's a hound, so his focus is all over the place. He can't really stay on one thing for too long. But he's going to be a great dog. He just needs to work on a few things, and you just need to be prepared for all that is hound. So if you're interested in taking home a hound, you've never had one before, I just encourage you to do a little bit of research and make sure that it is the type of dog that's going to fit your lifestyle. The last dog guests that we have for you today are one of our bonded pairs of Chihuahuas, and they've been with us since May. These guys are Hot Dog and Daisy, and Hot Dog is sporting his very cute outfit today, and Daisy is over there on the other side. They are about 5 to 6 years old, and they are, like many of the Chihuahuas that come to us, very scared. So they're not going to be necessarily an easy transition. They need somebody who's going to be very patient and willing to work with them. We do have people on staff here that have been spending a lot of time with them to kind of get them used to people, and once you give them that time, they do warm up to you. What I've heard is that you have to be a little no nonsense with them at first. Set your boundaries with Hot Dog, because he is a literal ankle biter sometimes. So you want to, set his boundaries and tell him no, and let him know that he's not allowed to do those things. But once you kind of establish that that's not what he's allowed to do, they both are very sweet. They like to be cuddled, and they like to have baby talk. And as you can see, Hot Dog is a fan of dressing up. He's not caring about that at all. He likes that. They do have some medical things. Recently, Hot Dog was neutered and he had some teeth pulled, and Daisy also has some medical things that we are working on getting taken care of for her. But anytime you're adding a senior animal to your home, you have to expect that they're gonna have some more medical needs than a typical puppy or something like that. So it is part of our adoption process that you have to read all of their paperwork before you can visit with them. So you just want to make sure you're prepared to take on not only their personalities and the fact that they are shy and nervous around new people, places, and things, but also the medical care that they're going to need going forward. Even though we're working to take care of some of that, you're going to have to take care of the aftercare and things going forward. Because they are a bonded pair, we will not separate them. They get upset when they're separated from one another. They do play, and they like, treats. They're big fans of treats. Sometimes Hot Dog will steal Daisy's treats because he knows she can't see as well. So just making sure that they're both getting equally what they need. They are seniors, so they will both be going home for a reduced adoption fee of $20. And because you have to take both, you will get an additional $20 reduction. So they will both be going home for about $30 off. We are located at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Thank you for watching the canine portion of our show. If you're more of a cat person, stay tuned. After the break, we're going to introduce you to a bunch of those guys that are also available for adoption here at Animal Control.
The Frederick County Sheriff's Office now offers fingerprinting services 3 days per week, from Tuesday through Thursday. Our goal is to make it more convenient for citizens to have fingerprints taken for employment, licenses, permits, and other important issues like adoption and child care services. The Sheriff's Office will continue to accept credit and debit cards, checks, and money orders as payment for fingerprint fees. Cash is not accepted. For more information, contact the Fingerprint Information Line at 301-600-4058.
Welcome back. As we know, it's kitten season, so every day kittens are getting applications. They're leaving the building, going to new homes, and some of our older residents are sticking around a little bit longer than maybe they deserve to. So today I'm going to introduce you to some of our great adult cats, and some of them are most of them actually this week are going to be senior cats. So first up is a new cat to our adoption floor. This is Storm, and she is a beautiful Dilute Tortie with white, and she is 6 years old. And she came to us recently because it looks like somebody got her from a family member. They kept her for about 2 weeks, but they learned that their 2-year-old was allergic to the cat, and the cat was very fearful of dogs. So they brought her to us so that we could find her a more suitable home. We have color-coded Storm here as a blue card, which means she's very easygoing. She adjusts well to new situations. She's the most easy to handle. I picked her up, and she didn't have any issues with it. I put her in the carrier, brought her out here. She didn't really cry. Opened the door. She kind of hesitated a bit, but then she was right out on Tammy's lap, perfectly, comfortable and relaxed, hanging out on a lap. So, and that's the great thing about older cats, is they are a little more set in their ways. So like if this is how she is here, it's probably how she's going to be in a home environment as well. It says that she did get along with other cats. She was around small children. There weren't any issues there other than the allergies. You're able to handle her. It does say she can be a bit shy and afraid of strangers, and I don't know if that's really it. She's just kind of more reserved. She's not, demanding attention like some of the cats on the adoption floor, coming up and kind of reaching out for you. She just is a little bit more comfortable and confident in her own space. She's not needy, if you will, at least right here in our facility. When you're petting her, you may notice that she does have some scabs on her. We have diagnosed that as an old flea allergy. Probably, we're not 100% sure, but that's what we're thinking. So when cats have flea allergies, like Mama, who's been on the show before, different things can happen. She's been scratching at it, so it's a little scabby. They can have hair loss, which is what's definitely been seen on Mama. So even if they're indoor only, keeping them on flea preventative is going to be really beneficial for them, because it's going to make sure that they're not affected, that they are going to stay comfortable. Because it's not only is it just annoying like when you get a bug bite, but it can be very painful for these animals. So keeping track of that and having a conversation with your vet about what's the best preventative for her, given that she might have that allergy. Our next guest is about 7 years old, and this is Tippy, and he is another one of the recent additions to our adoption floor, and he made his way here for a sad reason. Unfortunately, his owner died. We've been seeing a lot of that lately, which is makes it a good time to talk about being prepared and having a plan. Just as you would account for your property, your finances, your children in your will, you also need to take into consideration what are you going to do with your animals and have a plan. Where are they going to go? Do you have a friend or a family member that can take them on and is committed to saying, yes, I will? I know that, my family, my grandfather, we have, my mom is going to be the one who's designated to take on his animals in the event that something were to happen. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a backup plan and that you truly trust that person, so that you know that they're going to do what they say and not turn around and bring them to a shelter. But if you don't have anyone in your life that is willing to take on that responsibility, and you know that your family is going to have to bring them here, we do our very best to find the best possible home for each one of the animals that comes in. And senior animals like Tippy get all the same love and attention that all of the kittens do. They're often volunteer favorites because they like to sit on laps and they like to cuddle. And they just have very defined, unique personalities. Tippy is a beautiful gray cat. He's one of the many gray cats on the adoption floor right now. I feel like he probably came in with Tyler. They are similar in appearance, and they came in about the same time. So he I'm pretty sure he's lived with other cats before. He's calm, he's playful, he's friendly. He uses his litter box. He's just a sweet guy who needs a second chance at a forever home. 8-year-old Mischief is our next guest, and he is aptly named. He's always curious, looking for something to get into, and he has on a few occasions managed to escape his cage during cleaning. So he's always out looking for an adventure. So another reason, don't discount the old cats. They have just as much spunk as any of the more youthful cats on our adoption floor. Mischief is another one of those sad cases. His owner has end-stage heart failure, and while they were dealing with that, unable to care for Mischief, want to make sure that they had something set up in the event that something did happen. So they brought him to us so that we could find him a new home. He's only had one previous owner. He's lived with cats, he's lived with dogs, he's lived with children of all ages. He's calm, generally speaking, but in a new situation with lots of different noises, sometimes, as you can see, he's trying to get down and kind of see what's going on. He's independent, he's very friendly. He always comes up to the front of the cage and introduces himself, if you will, to visitors. And they say that he's a lap cat, and I feel like he does have that potential, but right now he's just so curious about what's going on and what are all these noises. In a home environment, I feel like he would definitely cuddle up and hang out with his new owner. They said that he loves toys on strings, and that he's a lap cat, and he's the sweetest that you'll ever find. They say he's the biggest hearted animal ever. So, unfortunately they were unable to keep him, but they have nothing but good things to say about Mischief. And they did leave a number. Sometimes previous owners do leave a number. You're not required to call them, but if you do have questions, you can always give them a call. That's what it's there for potential adopters to get all the information that they can before making a decision, because it is an important decision and it's a lifelong commitment for these animals. So you want to make sure that you're prepared to take that on. Mischief had an upper respiratory infection while he was here, which is pretty common. But other than that, he's in good health. The only thing that really indicates to me that he's an older guy is that he does have that kind of old man meow to him. But he's just a sweet, handsome guy who needs a second chance at forever. So to visit with Mischief, you want to stop in. If you want to call and check on his application status before you make the trip, you can always give us a call at 301-600-1546. We often go through themes and when we're naming our pets, and this is Darla, and she was part of our Little Rascals troop of cats. And all that we have left right now from those guys is Darla here and Petey, and they are both looking for forever homes. Darla is definitely more outgoing. Petey is more shy and things like that. Darla definitely has a little bit of spice to her, if you will, so it's kind of a fitting name for her. She's got a little sass in there, but she's also very pretty. Her face is very striking. It's like, I don't know, just like very symmetrical, and she's got the pink nose and the white blaze down her nose just makes her eyes pop out, and she's just very striking, and she just needs a wonderful new home. She came to us as a stray, and we have aged her to be about 2 to 3 years old. She loves attention, but she's not necessarily the biggest fan of being picked up, in my experience. She likes to play. She's just, an average kind of younger cat. We have color-coded her as green because she can be a little sassy, and she can have moments of that high energy. So we want to make sure that everybody's prepared for that. But as you can see, she's also very curious. She's hearing noises, she's looking around, she's trying to investigate them, but she's also settling in on a lap. So she has a lot of facets to her personality, and as she gets into a home environment, those things will start to come out more, and you'll be able to just understand more what she likes and what she doesn't like and things of that nature. Again, the Maryland 2000 is in effect until the end of the month. So any cat or kitten that you were to adopt in July would be adopted for that fee of $15.50. If you apply for a cat, say on July 29th, and we can't get it spayed, neutered, or all of that stuff before August, you'll still get that adoption fee based on when you applied for your animal. All of our animals are going to be spayed or neutered, rabies vaccinated, they get their county license, distemper vaccine. If they're a dog, they also get their Bordetella, they get dewormer, flea and tick preventative. We make sure all the cats and dogs are microchipped, and we also offer you a free well visit to the vet. So you really can't beat what you're getting for that adoption fee. In addition to all of that medical care, you're also getting the love of a great animal. If you want to love Darla, stop in and visit with her here at Frederick County Animal Control. Our hours of operation are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays those kennels are open from 10 to 4. The last animals that we have for you today are a bonded pair that have been on the show before, but they were recently in sick room and they just came back, so I wanted to make everybody aware that these fabulous girls were available for adoption again. Their names are Creamsicle and Sweet. So Creamsicle is over there with Tammy, and she is 3 years old. And then over here with me is Sweets, and she is 5 years old. And they are just the cutest pair of girls. They love each other like it's obvious. They like to cuddle together, they hang out together, they groom each other, they just love spending as much time as possible with each other. When you go by their cage, they're often cuddling. They spoon. It's just so cute, you wouldn't even dream of separating them. They came to us because their owner passed away, and there's actually 4 cats from that same family on the adoption floor right now. These 2 are bonded, but then we also have Trixie, who looks very similar to Sweets. And then we also have Chester, who is our 11-year-old black cat, and he is also a very handsome guy. And they are just looking at, you know, a chance to have another loving home. So these guys have to be, again, adopted together. But if you were looking for just any pair of cats that need a new home and you're looking for 2, then Trixie and Chester would also be a good option to go together because they are familiar with one another. They've lived together before. They don't have any issues with one another. It's a lot easier to take cats that are already familiar with each other than try to take 2 unknowns and put them together because you don't know if they're going to want to cuddle and hang out and things like that. Because you're taking 2, if you were to adopt them after the Maryland 2000 is over, you would get a $20 discount for taking 2, and then you would also get a $20 reduction in your adoption fee for Sweets, who is over the age of 5. So you'll get a nice little discount there, and you know, really for what you're getting and the amount of love that they're going to show you, they're worth every penny and then some. If you wanted to visit with this amazing pair or any of the animals that you've seen on today's show, you want to stop in and visit. 1832 Rosemont Avenue is where we are located, and we are open to the public Monday through Saturday. We want to thank you for tuning in and getting to know some of our adoptables here at Frederick County Animal Control. If you didn't see something that strikes your interest, stop in and visit because there are so many animals on the adoption floor and we're only able to showcase just a small portion of those. And if you have seen something online, you want to check it out a little bit further, you can always give us a call. Our number is 301-600-1546. Thanks again for watching, and we hope you'll tune in again next week.